Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
A lot of Democrats are not celebrating, who's picked for the Supreme Court Justice, Brett Kavanaugh.
If confirmed, he would be among the most conservative justices in Supreme Court history. And there's every reason to believe he would overturn Roe.
Breaking news.
A woman says the president's U.S. Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, assaulted her when she and Kavanaugh were both in high school.
And her allegations are coming to light now because she recently wrote a letter to her congresswoman in California. That letter was then passed on to the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Dr. Blasey Ford said she knew Kavanaugh during their high school years in the early 1980s, when the two went to private prep schools in suburban Maryland. Dr. Blasey Ford wrote a confidential letter to her congresswoman in July, which was given to the Senate Judiciary Committee's ranking Democrat, Dianne Feinstein of California, later that month. Bits of her story leaked out to the press in early September, before she came forward to the Washington Post.
Kavanaugh's accuser has been asked to testify before the Judiciary Committee.
I attended a number of parties that Brett also attended. We did not know each other well, but I knew him and he knew me. I don't have all the answers, and I don't remember as much as I would like to. But the details about that night that bring me here today are the ones I will never forget. I drank one beer. Brett and Mark were visibly drunk. Early in the evening, I went up a very narrow set of stairs leading from the living room to a second floor to use the restroom. When I got to the top of the stairs, I was pushed from behind into a bedroom across from the bathroom. I couldn't see who pushed me. Brett and Mark came into the bedroom and locked the door behind them. There was music playing in the bedroom. It was turned up louder by either Brett or Mark once we were in the room. I was pushed onto the bed, and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me. I yelled, hoping that someone downstairs might hear me, and I tried to get away from him, but his weight was heavy. Brett groped me and tried to take off my clothes. He had a hard time because he was very inebriated, and because I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit underneath my clothing. I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life. It was hard for me to breathe, and I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me.
When you said it was clear that they had been drinking prior, do you mean prior to the time you had gotten there or prior to the time they had arrived?
Prior to the time that they arrived. I don't recall who arrived first, though.
You said that you do not remember how you got home. Is that correct?
I do not remember.
Okay.
Other than I did not drive home.
How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I don't remember. Where is the place? I don't remember. How many years ago was it? I don't know. I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember.
Less than 2 weeks ago, Dr. Ford publicly accused me of committing wrongdoing at an event more than 36 years ago when we were both in high school. I denied the allegation immediately, categorically, and unequivocally. All 4 people allegedly at the event, including Dr. Ford's longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, have said they recall no such event. Her longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, said under penalty of felony that she does not know me and does not believe she ever saw me at a party ever. The day after the allegation appeared, I told this committee that I wanted a hearing as soon as possible to clear my name. I demanded a hearing for the very next day. Unfortunately, it took the committee 10 days to get to this hearing. In those 10 long days, As was predictable, and as I predicted, my family and my name have been totally and permanently destroyed by vicious and false additional accusations.
So essentially, we are looking at a Clarence Thomas situation and Anita Hill.
We are. But here is the first nominee I know of that's been accused of effectively attempted rape. You know, with Thomas, it was sexual misconduct. Here, you have someone who's saying that this is a nominee who tried to rape me.
He vigorously denies that, says he wasn't even at that party. He's having calls with staff members on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Clearly, he's pushing back here. If Democrats believe this accuser for him as a nominee, does that mean that they are going to start impeachment proceedings if his nomination is pulled? Because why would he be eligible for the second highest court in the land?
Right, that's the problem, is that you can't stop this train halfway through down the track. If you believe he is an attempted, that he was someone who tried to do an attempted rape or sexually assaulted an individual, it's hard to imagine he can be an Article III judge.
The second woman to accuse Kavanaugh of misconduct was Deborah Ramirez, in an account published by The New Yorker on September 23rd. She and Kavanaugh were undergraduate students at Yale University during the 1983-1984 school year.
Ramirez alleges Kavanaugh exposed himself to her when they attended Yale together.
Deborah Ramirez claims that during a party where students were drinking, Kavanaugh put his genitals in her face, forcing her to touch them as she tried to push him away. Quote, "I was embarrassed and ashamed and humiliated." She remembers Kavanaugh standing to her right and laughing, pulling up his pants. Brett was laughing, she said. "I can still see his face and his hips coming forward like when you pull up your pants." She recalled another male student shouting about the incident. Somebody yelled down the hall, "Brett Kavanaugh just put his penis in Debbie's face," she said. It was his full name. I don't think it was just Brett. And I remember hearing that and being mortified that this was out there.
She said two male students who she named were present and would back her up. They contacted them. They say they have no memory of it. And this is, as Blasey Ford, she identified 4 people who were at her alleged party with Brett Kavanaugh. Not one has backed her up. All have denied it, including this woman, Leland Kaiser, I think it's a woman, who is a friend of Christine Ford's and a Democrat, who said, I have no recollection of that whatsoever.
Speaking publicly for the first time to the Times reporters, Ford's close friend Leland Kaiser, who Ford said was at the party, said she didn't believe Ford's account and that it just didn't make any sense. She also said she told the FBI that Ford's allies pressured her to say otherwise.
Now, all 4 people that Ford identified as being at that high school party in the summer of 1982 have now said no such party occurred. And today, both the Republican chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee and the Democratic chair of the House Judiciary Committee said they would not support impeaching Kavanaugh.
The third woman to come forward was Julie Swetnick.
Well, Rachel, I'm representing one client who I can describe as a witness and victim.
Swetnick went to high school in suburban Maryland and said in her statement that she met Kavanaugh and Judge in approximately 1980 to 1981. She said she attended well over 10 house parties with Kavanaugh and Judge from 1981 to 1983 and witnessed their excessive drinking and physically abusive behavior toward women. Swetnick said she was incapacitated and raped at one of the parties where Kavanaugh and Judge were present in approximately 1982.
I think, Rachel, there very well be or may be a criminal complaint made relating to this conduct. We don't believe a statute of limitations would apply to it. This woman, when she does surface, will be found to be 100% credible by the American public. I would not be representing her if I did not believe her. And if anyone has been paying attention over the last 6 to 7 months, they know that I do not traffic in nonsense or rumor.
Congressional Democrats are now pushing for an FBI investigation of the allegations against Kavanaugh.
I want the FBI to conduct as thorough an investigation as they possibly can.
Christine Blasey Ford has said that she would have liked the FBI to do a kind of neutral fact-finding on this. What do you think about that?
I'm a big fan of the FBI, John, but they don't investigate sex assault cases. There are very, very few federal sex assault cases. So My first question would be the FBI to investigate what? There's no crime scene to process. There's no forensics to evaluate. What the FBI could do is go interview Dr. Ford and interview Judge Kavanaugh, but they've already interviewed Judge Kavanaugh. So the only role I can see the Bureau playing is identifying other witnesses that may have knowledge. Some of that's already been done by Dr. Ford. Judge Kavanaugh's defense is he wasn't there, so you wouldn't expect him to produce witnesses, but I don't know what people expect the FBI to do. They're not human polygraphs, so they can't tell us who's telling the truth.
It should take about a day to do this investigation. No, I mean, you can't find any evidence after 36 years, and the two principals have already testified in this case. You've already got affidavits from Mark Judd and letters from the others.
When it comes to the FBI investigation, this has been the play by the Democrats all along. They knew there wasn't enough evidence to convict Kavanaugh, even in the public or the court of public opinion. So what they did, even in his questioning, was say, we need an FBI investigation. Don't you think so? Because they knew that if there was an FBI investigation, it was a stall tactic.
Couple things here. First of all, notice there's no blue dress here. Out of these three accusers, there's not a single eyewitness. There's not a single corroborating witness. There's not a single shred of evidence. So that's what they have in common. No case, which is exactly why the Democrats believe that only the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Bill of Rights don't apply. Only the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Constitution doesn't apply. No due process, no presumption of innocence, because they have to make that case. The Democrats, their lawyers, their operatives, the Senate, their staffers, all scheming around in the shadows, they've come up with literally nothing tangible or concrete. The reason why they blow this off, that it's not a court of law, is because that's how totalitarians think. People keep saying Brett Kavanaugh had 6 FBI background investigations. How many background investigations did Ms. Ford have? 0. How about the other accusers? How many FBI background investigations did they have? 0. All these left-wing Democrat lawyers who represent these accusers, they know where the Montgomery County Police Department is. They haven't walked a single one of their clients into that law enforcement office to file a complaint against Mr. Kavanaugh. They keep talking about the FBI. The jurisdiction is Montgomery County, Maryland, boys, and you know where it is. Why don't you go ahead and file your complaints there? And I'll tell you why. Because then the rule of law actually kicks in.
And Judge Kavanaugh will get his final vote tomorrow, following the FBI's 7th investigation into his background.
Republican leaders saying they are satisfied with the FBI report into Kavanaugh, and Democrats tonight calling it a sham.
The decision coming down to 4 senators who today finally revealed their intentions. First, Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski voting no in a critical test vote, indicating she could not support Kavanaugh.
I believe he is a good man. It just may be that, in my view, he's not the right man for the court at this time.
But Arizona Republican Jeff Flake, who originally called for the FBI background investigation, announcing he would vote yes.
He'll get confirmed tomorrow.
We'll do our best. I would think so.
Then there were 2, Kavanaugh needing one of them to secure his seat on the nation's highest court. After an hours-long wait, Maine Republican Susan Collins coming to the Senate floor, arguing there was not enough evidence to back up the sexual misconduct allegations against Kavanaugh.
None of the individuals Professor Ford says were at the party has any recollection at all of that night. I do not believe that these charges can fairly prevent Judge Kavanaugh from serving on the court. I will vote to confirm Judge Kavanaugh.
Moments later, Kavanaugh picking up a Democratic vote. Joe Manchin.
The question is, could anybody corroborate the allegations? They interviewed numerous people. Supposedly the report is about 1,000 pages long, which tells you the scope and the amount of work that the FBI did in a mere 5 days. And they couldn't corroborate anything.
On this vote, the ayes are 50, the nays are 48. The nomination of Brett M. Kavanaugh of Maryland to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.